Welcome to this Sunday service. I'm Kalani, your host. And I want to just say welcome, and I hope you're all well. Doing well this holiday season. It's cold in my studio. It's winter, and we've been having a theme of winter, the kinds of things that we often do in the cooler season: reflect, hibernate, plan a little bit. I spent the last couple days, my brother's over, and we were cleaning, organizing, taking care of things, that everything kind of like leaves, the leaves that somehow always want to go to my front doorstep and collect all the things from the year that have collected in your life, around your life. It's time to tidy up, sweep things up. So today I had a change of theme because I was originally I wanted to talk about acceptance, and I got a great opportunity. I made a little bit of a shift because this morning I found out that I have a truck that I remodeled, that I rehabbed, a 68 Chevy pickup, and it's on the street, and this morning I found out that somebody had hit it. And yes, it's sad. But so I want to use that as an opportunity to just talk about the idea of not only acceptance, but starting from now. And I believe, and I'm paraphrasing, but the prominent and respected Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron, I believe, has a book, and I'm not going to get the title right, but I think it's start from now, or start from here, or start where you are. I think that's what it is. Start where you are. And those are such wise words, and we could relate, you can relate this to the teachings of Eckhart Tolle and others. It's all Taoism, folks, basically. So, it's something that I just want to invite you all to observe in yourself, right? And of course, mindfulness, one of the main tenets of mindfulness is to try to reduce the time that we spend and the energy and attention that we spend on future and past, right? Future being, it could be at the minimum just planning, imagining, and there's nothing wrong, like we said last week, there's nothing wrong with having a plan or planning something, but it's the, how much time and energy are we spent in the future. And the downside of future thinking would be worrying, right? Worrying is imagining an undesirable outcome. Usually, I think most people imagine a desirable outcome, right? We're dreaming, we're planning, we're envisioning, and that's all fine. That's part of being human. It's part of what we do, but we don't want to spend all of our energy, or a vast majority of our energy, on that. Why? Because we want to save a lot of our attention and energy for the present, right? Because we can't do both. And then also, of course, the other thing we don't want to do is ruminate, remembering, having our regrets, going over grievances, reviewing, the past a lot. And there's multiple reasons for not really reviewing the past. A lot of it can be just dysfunctional, carrying a grudge, for example, which only affects us, right? It only affects me if I have a grudge, or that produces anger or some feelings of frustration, negative emotions, we would call them, that are anxiety producing. That is only happening inside of me, right? All that stuff. I can think that it's about something else or someone else, but the fact is none of that activity, none of my grudge holding or anger holding, it doesn't affect anyone except me, unless I, of course, take action based on it. But I'm saying the thinking part doesn't affect anybody. I'm just hurting myself. So we don't really want to spend a lot of time on that. So here's, a check. And I had a check, not the good kind of check. I mean, I had to check myself. One of the things that you can do is when things, let's say something happens, undesirable event, like your car getting hit or dented. What happens next in the next moment? You know, how are you coping with that? Where do you go from that moment? And you know, how do you feel? How's your temperament? What do you then, you know, do you go into rumination? And of course, like the saying, you don't want to should all over yourself. Shoulds and coulds aren't really helpful. You know, a number of years ago, I was doing something in the kitchen and I was cleaning a wine glass, a nice expensive wine glass, you know, a nice wine glass, and I either hit something or I dropped it or it slipped out of my hand or it literally broke in my hand. Some wine glasses are very fragile. And so the wine glass broke. And I remembered just immediately going from seeing a wine, you know, having a wine glass to having broken glass in the sink. And so my attachment was immediately gone. You know, the wine glass it no longer existed. So therefore it wasn't relevant because it was literally a memory. And then I had glass in the sink and I just dealt with the glass in the sink. You know, for obvious reasons, I don't want glass in the sink, but I just cleaned it up. You know, so one moment you have a wine glass, and the next moment you have a bunch of glass, and that's it, right? So I noticed that shift, that immediate shift in myself, and I thought, well, that's progress. That's good, right? Like the saying, don't cry over spilled milk. In this case, it was a little bit more than spilled milk, but you get the idea. Same thing. So wake up, have a dented truck, somebody hit my truck. But you know, now there's just a dent in the truck and that's it. And so I have to move forward from here. And it's okay, you know. It's not, you know, this has to do with the quality. In this case, I'll speak for myself. Whatever I think from this moment forward, or my action, you know, whatever I feel about it I own that. I'm creating all of that. It's not on anyone else. So, you know, you folks all know that you're going to get a life tax once in a while that you didn't want, you didn't expect, but it happens. It happens to everybody, and it's part of life. It's just part of nature, you know. Sometimes a pine cone is going to hit you on the head when you're walking through the forest, and you'll think, what did I do to deserve this? You know, well, it's not a matter of that. It's not the question. It's just sometimes, you know, something falls on your head out of the sky. Or, you know, you stub your toe or whatever it is, and it's okay. It's just, you start from that moment forward with whatever you have. And getting back to the music part of music mindfulness, it's, I've talked about this before, it's improv, you guys. It's improvisation. The definition of improvising or improvisation is making do with what is available at the time. That's it. Making do with what is available at the time. Not what you wanted to have available, not what you dream about having available. It's what do I have right now to work with, and now I'm going to improvise, create something of value from the things I have. And you might feel like you have nothing. And so I'm going to circle back around to the topic I was going to talk about today. So I'm going to do both because I'm improvising right now. And what do we have? You know, what do we have? Well, in some ways, let's just go with this for a second. In some ways, the less you actually have, like you own, the more of everything that you actually have. And but let me just give you some examples of things that you have, that we all have. We all have the ability to go outside and observe nature. You know, basically, we all have all of nature most of the time, to some degree, at our disposal to enjoy. Well, first, let's back up a little. You have a life, which is absolutely amazing. You know, you have the life experience. You have the capacity to tune into that life experience. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. You can just sit, breathe, and feel, you know, the sensation of aliveness inside you, which is an amazing experience. Now, we become numb to it because it's so familiar, and we get distracted, of course, with lots of achievement-based things, you know, our having this and doing that and being this and blah, 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 blah. However, I think one of the most amazing things that you are ever going to experience, by definition, is your life, is your beingness, you know, just being alive. What is that? You know, what you're compared to most of the other stuff on the earth, being alive is incredible. It's just an amazing thing that you could be this animated part of the earth, and sentient and a thinking part, like as a human, you know. I mean, you're really at the top of the pyramid there. So don't ever take that for granted, and enjoy it and feel it. Spend a little time tuning into that. It's amazing. What detracts from that, of course, is all the ego-based stuff of we think about ourselves and our titles and our achievements and, you know, the whatever, all the other stuff with the labels and measuring and, you know, comparing ourselves to other people and all that stuff. That really can detract from just the simple enjoyment of having a life and being alive, which we all have. And just we need to cherish it and enjoy it. So tune into that. And then from there, go outside. I mean, there's so many amazing things. There's so much artwork outside and inside. But let's just think about things you could do today, right now, wherever you are. If you could walk outside any time of day and just look around, look at the trees, look at the sky, what's happening in the sky, what's happening with the plants, what are the sounds you hear. All of that is music and art work. It's all beauty for you that you can enjoy. Whether you choose to tune into that and enjoy it and cherish that is up to you. But it's always there. It's your option. So if you think that, you know, you need to, it's more important to go shopping and buy clothes and wear them and take pictures of yourself and do selfies and, you know, all of that, that's okay. I mean, you can do that. But I'm just saying there's so many amazing things that are available. You can go to the beach if you're near the beach or a lake or river. Watch some water move. You know, listen to the sounds. One of my favorite sounds, especially this time of year, because it just really happens mostly this time of year, is the sound of leaves rustling, those dry leaves in the trees rustling with the wind. It's an amazing sound. Beautiful. And another sound was when they hit the ground and they're all kind of, you know, on the street or sidewalk or in the driveway, and then a little gust of wind comes up and they all scamper across the street, and there's this amazing little, it's like a little crispy marathon. All the leaves just flicking themselves across the street, and the sound of that is so beautiful. It's just this delicate little stampede of nature, of little dry leaves on their way to be recycled, go back into the earth and come back again as a little sprout or something, you know. It's really amazing. So I hope that you will spend a little time taking advantage of all of the music that's around you, because that is what I just described is part of a mindfulness practice. It's being in the moment, it's paying attention, it's not planning or worrying or ruminating or regretting or blaming or holding grudges, or even just remembering the past, you know. It's just being in the present and doing what you're designed to do, which is to live, is to be alive, and to feel alive, and to just improvise your way through life and to meet, you know, undesirable news, let's just call it, things that you didn't plan, you didn't necessarily want, you didn't feel like you signed up for, to meet those things with an openness and to say, okay, now I'm starting from here. A moment ago I was over there, now I'm over here, and I'm just going to keep moving forward from here because that's what I have to do. I don't have a choice. The circumstances are the circumstances. But the good news is that we have so many ways to do that. We're designed to do that, folks. That's what we do as humans. That's why we've got this part. But all the rest of living, the living part, that's why we have this body, the feeling of aliveness to just appreciate. Okay, so I'm going to move forward and play a little bit. That's really the main message of today's service. Start where you are, to quote Pema Chodron, and just start from here, start from now. However you want to think of it, however you want to say it is fine. Today I'm using the beautiful Spacedrum by Metal Sounds. I'm using a couple flutes. Native American style flute. This is a bass D flute, and this is a mid-tone D flute. And then I've got some little whistles over here. I can't really show you the whistles, but I've got a whole collection of these little wooden whistles, beautiful rosewood whistles from Brazil, and sound effects and things like that. So I'm going to continue where I left off in the music, and I'll talk to you before we end today, but let's get back to the music for right now. And thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in and being part of this series of music mindfulness. Thanks for joining me today, everyone. Happy holidays. I'll see you next week for another Sunday service. I'm Kalani Das. If you'd like to connect with me more, you can do that at patreon.com/Kalani, kalanidas.com for the mindfulness, music mindfulness, Evolve podcast, kalanimusic.com to send me a message. And we appreciate your support and interest. Connect with me more, send me a message if you're a patron at the Patreon site. Thanks, and enjoy moving forward from where you are, wherever you are. And wherever you are, I hope that you're doing well and those around you are as well. Thank you for tuning in today.